You are God. Don't forget that.
I have a question.
And I have an answer.
Why do you know so much?
Why do I know so much? All right, I got a question for everyone. Do you feel that you know more than you have been taught? And how is that possible? Because I feel I know more than I have been taught. And if I lock into what I feel that I know, it assumes or it appears that I know a lot. If I only talk about what I've been told and what I've been shown, then it appears I don't know too much about shit. So the difference is, where am I drawing my information from? What I have been taught or what I haven't been taught? I believe that we are not here to learn anything. No. I don't believe we're here to learn anything. I believe we are here to remember everything. And in learning things, it triggers memories. In learning things, it triggers memories. But you're not supposed to be solely concentrated on what these humans are teaching you. You're not supposed to be solely concentrated on what they're telling you in school, because all that is bullshit. It's for someone else's reason. It's for someone else's purpose. I always ask, do you feel you know more than you have been taught? And until you think about this, really think about it, you really can't comment on what you know and what you don't know. You really can't say anything, because I'm betting that every one of us know more than we have been taught. But they got us thinking that we're supposed to be here to learn shit. We're not supposed to be here to learn nothing. We are supposed to be here to remember. To remember. So that's why it seems like I know a lot of shit, because I'm not talking from the shit that we all have been taught. I'm talking from the shit that just come from the inside. I don't know how I know certain things. You don't know how you know certain things, but you do. And you might be afraid to tell people that you just know certain things that you can't explain, because they're gonna ridicule you, or they're gonna say something, or they're gonna call you crazy. So what? So what? So what? People are talking bad about you anyway that you don't even know about. The person that's right next to you can be talking some shit about you. You don't even know about it. You won't know until you know. And then when you know, you're like, damn, you've been talking like, yeah, they have been. So that's the answer to the question. Why do I know so much? Because I know more than I have been taught. That's why.
Okay, so we are here to remember.
Yes, we are.
Are there things that trigger those memories?
So you're trying to say, how do you tap into that side? Let me give you an example. 2 examples that's crazy. Years ago, I have a nephew. His name is Xavier Love. And Xavier is like 18 now. But when Xavier was 3, I was babysitting this little dude. And the minute his dad left, I jumped up and I was like, I'm in charge and you have to do what I say do, because I'm the elder. I'm the adult. This 3-year-old said to me, no, Uncle Q, I'm in charge. And I said, how can you be in charge? What do you know? How do you know something? What do you know? He says, I know, Uncle Q. I said, how do you know? He says, because I taught myself, Uncle Q. I said, you taught yourself? He says, yes, Uncle Q. We teach ourselves. I backed up off that little 3-year-old. And I left that 3-year-old alone. And I let that 3-year-old guide us for the rest of the day, because he told me something at 3. He says he taught himself. From where? Okay, that's not good enough. I have a granddaughter now. Her name is Sylvia. All right, Sylvia just turned 4. And I'm talking to Sylvia, just a few days ago, maybe a week ago. I'm talking to Sylvia, and I say to Sylvia, how do you know? How do you know? I'm talking about, I'm always boisterous with kids. I know this and I know that. And then she said, well, I know this. I'm like, how do you know that? How do you know? She says, because I taught myself. Papa, Q. Papa, I taught myself. How did you teach yourself? I taught myself. It's twice in my lifetime, right at the top of my dome where I can remember. So if me as a grown adult can say that, I could turn to a kid and a kid will tell you, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you have heard a kid say, I taught myself. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you as a kid said, I taught myself. So if we really want to know, go talk to a kid. Go talk to a kid. What happened to jumpstart that kid's memory? I challenged that child. I challenged that child very aggressively. And that child stood up and said, no, I already know this. I know this. So what triggers our memories is events and situations trigger your memory. And you just do things. You just do things. You're like, wow, how did I know that? Events trigger your memory. See, that's what life is about. Life is about you come here with a clean slate to learn how to remember. Babies come here with a clean slate. Their clean slate is only for their experiences to happen so it can trigger their memories so they can know and remember why they came here. We all choose to come here. We all choose to come here. So we all came here for a reason. And you have to remember why you came here so you can do whatever you're supposed to do while you're here. Bam. So it doesn't look like that answered your question.
Not quite. I have another question.
Okay.
These memories.
Oh, we're doing a video, but thank you.
These memories. Are those sort of like instincts? Because there are adults that don't always think they know what to do right now, and you're saying they do, actually.
Okay, great lead in. You said adults don't think they know what to do. Yes, and that's the way we want adults. We want you not to think you know what to do. That way I can show you what to do, or I can coerce you into doing what I want you to do. So if I see an adult that is in that situation, I will see an adult that has been broken down spiritually, because they do know what to do. They know what they want. They know how they want the end of the day to be. So if you know how you want it to turn out, then you know what to do. But because we have not developed that in each other, and society doesn't promote you knowing what to do and you exerting your own ideas and thoughts out, unless you go and you're working in some type of artistic value or production or something where you are allowed and they want to hear your thoughts and your ideas. Normally, nobody wants to hear your thoughts and ideas. Normally, people want to tell you their thoughts and ideas and they want you to follow that. And so what does that do? That slowly breaks us down as kids, as we grow. Nobody wants to hear from you. Nobody wants to hear your thoughts. Nobody wants to hear shit. So where does that develop? To where an adult will be so comfortable with their choices and their thoughts and their ideas. So if you're telling me that adults are like that, I would have to look at the realm at which these adults are living in, and who's controlling them, and who's telling them what, and what are they listening to. And if there's a lot of them that are like that, then it's organized. That means somebody or something wanted these beings to grow up and be like that. Be like what? Self-doubt. Self-doubt. No belief in self, no self-assurance. Why would you want someone like that? Control. Control. How else do you control somebody? You first break them and break their spirit about their own thoughts, their own beliefs, and how they feel about themselves. Break that shit. Destroy it. Then you start rebuilding them with pictures and videos of what they should be. And they're gonna emulate that as best they can. And I'm gonna sit here and watch them do that, knowing that if they keep doing that, I'm going to have them exactly where I want them, to where I can control them. with everything that I do, I can control them. They give up their civil liberties. And your civil liberties are physical. These are the physical God-given rights to people. If you give that up, you're also giving up your spiritual civil liberties, to where you can't dream, you can't manifest, you can't think, because your personal, physical civil liberties are given away. So spiritually, you can't even dream anymore. How many of you guys dream now? Yeah, exactly. Why? Why don't you dream anymore? Because you're too busy worrying about things that have nothing to do with you. That concrete. When you worry about things that have nothing to do with you, you're giving up your spiritual civil liberties. And we don't dream anymore. We dream about bills. We dream about problems. We dream about situations. So hopefully that answers your question. In conclusion, because I started all of this by saying and explaining that you are God. And I explained that you're not the God of any of this stuff. This is nature. This is what created you. You're not the God for any of this. And as we pan over and we see all of those concrete, you are not the God of any of that. However, you are the God of yourself. Okay? And the emotions and all of this stuff that triggers you to do things, how do you create a God? If we're all gods, we have to be born into that. How do you create a God? Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. There's only one way to create a God. Heat and pressure, and heat and pressure, and pressure and heat, so much to where you're either going to break or you're going to rise, man, in this loving being of self and of understanding. Because that's the only way to create a God. The only way to create a God was a lot of heat and a lot of pressure. Because what's the definition of a God? Something that's loving, something that's giving, something that's protective, something that you can go through for comfort, you can go to for comfort, something that's in our own personal mind that just makes us feel whole. That is where God is at. God is inside of you. God is you. And so the pressures and the problems and the situations that you go through, you must look in the mirror and say, what does it take to create this God?